I'm about to invite Michelle Richmond to come on the stage, and she's going to be talking a lot about the mind space. One of the things, which it's a famous quote, you've probably heard it before, was said by Margaret Mead, where she said, "It's easier to change a man's religion than change his diet." I don't know why she didn't say about whole humanity. She picked on men. But anyway, that gives you an idea of how hard it is to change a diet. But I'll tell you a little bit about Michelle herself. She has a well-tested understanding of what inspires people to make change and to live happier, healthier lives. Her research into mind-body medicine and energy psychology is utilized through her role as a facilitator, coach, and mentor. Michelle has achieved success and public recognition while sharing the tangible laws of life transformation. Her previous role as CEO of the Asher Institute of Integrative Medicine, combined with her business experience, has developed her deep professionalism and strengthened her creative resolve to utilize the vehicle of corporate life to spread the word about innovative genius that is within everyone. Please welcome Michelle Richmond.
Thanks, Bob, and thank you for inviting me tonight and coming out tonight. I think it's really interesting to hear, yourself introduced. Really what I do is I help people to become unstuck. And, most of us, no matter whether we're going through life or through, there are always changes in our life, right? We always come to those turning points in our life through relationship, through our health, through losing our job, through just life circumstance. And what I love seeing tonight is that we have actually Ayurveda, we have Rama talking about Ayurveda and the ancient wisdom, and we have Sean speaking about modern science. And the great thing in the health space, the well-being space at the moment, is that we are seeing modern science actually starting to understand and even prove that ancient wisdom is correct. We are seeing that through epigenetics, through neuroscience, neuroplasticity, where we're actually showing that when we change the way we think, when we change the way we perceive who we are, that it actually changes us on a cellular level. So all of that talk about genetics can be changed. We can change our genes by changing our thinking. We can change our life by changing the way we think and the way we perceive ourselves. And really that's why we're here tonight. We're all here because in some way we want to achieve a better quality of life. Would you not agree? That's why you're here? Yeah? So my invitation to you tonight is to actually expand your thinking and imagine, who would you be if you're not you? Who would you be if you were not limited by the perception of who you think you are, what you think you can achieve in your life, and what you think you can create? Every time you have a thought, everything you think about, it creates a belief, it creates an emotion in your body. And now the science is showing that your thoughts energetically actually create congestion. If they're negative thoughts, they can create congestion in your diaphragm, right? When you're churning things over. So it doesn't matter how much vegetarian food you eat, if you're thinking negative thoughts, your diaphragm is churning, you're churning your thoughts over, your heart is congested, your food cannot digest properly. Your body actually can't assimilate the food that you're eating, right, Rama? It's the mind-body medicine space. So if you change the quality of thinking, the awesome news is that you can change the quality of your life. Is there anyone in the room that would actually love a better quality of life? In some way, right? Does everyone in this room end the day so excited that they can't wait for tomorrow to come because you're absolutely awe-inspired about everything that you do in life? Who does that? Yes, thank you, Reinhardt. Like, that's the space that we all should live in, right? We live in an extraordinary time when anything is possible. We live in an extraordinary country where we can do anything we want to do, right? Do you agree? We live in a place where everything we want is at our fingertips, correct? Yeah. So if you're not going to bed at night thinking, damn it, I just can't wait for tomorrow to come. If you're coming home at the end of the day thinking, I can't wait for this day to end, if you're a bee, then my question to you is, what would you love to change in your life? Yeah, because when you start working in the space of becoming diligent about what you think and noticing your mind, and my invitation is to you, I want you to listen to the crap that goes in your head for the next 24 hours and what you actually think. And ask yourself, is what I'm thinking real or am I making it up? Yeah, are you rehashing what you're going to say to someone at work tomorrow? Are you thinking about what you should have done? Are you kind of mulling things over? Do you take time in your day to actually stop and rest your mind? Because when you stop and rest your mind, you stop and rest your body. And then your digestion can start functioning properly. Your body can function properly. Your immune system kicks in. And everything that you think creates emotion in your body, right? Energy in motion. And that's either stagnant and congested or it's free-flowing, so you can create an extraordinary life. So when you start to mix mindfulness, being aware of what you think, with intentionality, and get clear about the life you intend to create, what is the essence of life that you would love to live? If you're not going to bed or inspired, give me some examples. What's an essence of life that you would love to live, right? One of mine is to do something inspiring, hang out with inspiring people and inspire others. What would be something that you would love to have more of in your life that you don't currently have? Yeah? More inspiration? Awesome. Who else? Time? Learn to stretch time. Sorry? Space? What do you mean by space? Available space. Josie? That's all right. More freedom, love, abundance, energy. All of those things, they're really simple things, really. Yet hardly ever do we put our focus on creating more of that in our life. So my experience is that when you start to become aware of what you think and focus your intention on that which you choose to create, and then leave it up to the quantum field to see how that comes to life, your experience of life changes. Magic happens. Yeah? I guess an example of that is recently I walked into a room with Dr. Joe Dispenza. Does anyone know who he is? Yeah, a few people have heard of him. He does neuroscience, neuroplasticity. And I thought, what would I love out of this morning tea that I'd arranged for all these people to be there to learn something from him? And I thought, I'd love to walk out of there with him recognizing me as his peer. And I thought at the time that was a big jump because, I just have a little clinic with Sean down in downtown Sydney, and he's this world sort of class speaker. And I walked out of that room, that was my only intention. And I didn't ask how. I walked out of that room with him, suggesting and offering to do a research study with me with the Australian Army using energy psychology and testing their brain to see how energy psychology changed their brain if we put them through a program. Now, I wouldn't have imagined that in the morning. I wouldn't have put that into play. I wouldn't have thought that was even possible. But by just creating the intention, things come to you in ways you'd never imagined. It doesn't matter how much good food you eat if you don't have a positive mind frame, because your mind creates your reality. And your mind creates the way you feel in your body. So that's why it's really, really important that you become diligent with your mind, that you start to live from your heart and live a life that's more extraordinary than you ever thought possible. And that's my invitation to you tonight, is to start checking in with your heart. If you are not living a life that is just so awesome that you go to bed not being able to wait for the next day, start noticing what you're thinking, noticing what you're feeling, and choose to change it. Become the master of your mind. No one teaches us that. Because when you become the master of your mind, your body starts to function more effectively, your immune system kicks in, your stress level goes down, you're more effective, you become healthier and happier. When you become healthier and happier, what happens? You start to eat better. You're more conscious about what you consume. You're more conscious about what you use in your home. You're more conscious of who you hang out with. Am I right? Yeah. So the knock-on effect is then you have better friends. You have better quality friends. You have better quality communities. We stop needing so many painkillers. We stop needing so many antibiotics, antidepressants, hormone tablets, hopefully chemotherapy and radiation, and we stop peeing all that crap down the toilet, which means we stop infecting our waterways, which means our fish are healthier, our animal life is healthier, and our world becomes healthier. So if you really want to change the world, start by changing yourself. If you want world peace, where is the peace inside of you? And remember, as my daughter once told me, talk doesn't cook rice. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Michelle. Are there any more questions? Yes.
What we need to remember is that it's about the individual and it's about empowering ourselves, taking responsibility, being accountable and saying, I can actually change things within me, within my sphere, which is your family, and then beyond that within your community. And so it spreads. Dr. Sean Kirsten has spread that message, and I've worked with him, so that's why I'm singling him out, but I'm sure the others are doing the same thing. He's spreading that message via media. He's spreading it individually, and he's doing it through the corporate sector as well. So he's targeting a lot of individuals with that same message to infiltrate via the individual. And that's how things can truly change. They really can. They already have. You didn't have macro foods in Woolworths 2 years ago that provides organic options and healthy things like that. Oncologists, as Michelle said, are now taking on board the holistic approach. It's all changing, but it starts with us, and it's about creating an awareness. So what we need to do is spread that message further and talk to the people in our circle, and so it builds. That's the key.
I just wanted to add a bit of additional perspective to some of the comments that have been passed around in regards to foods. Another thing that we also need to consider, apart from these needing to have fresh foods and that sort of thing, apart from needing to have fresh foods and the like, is what do we do about the certain contaminants that are actually around in the environment, the heavy metals, the pesticides, the toxins, all of those things. It doesn't matter if you're at home and you're growing vegetables in your garden at home, but if there's certain contaminants that you are not privy to that are actually around in your immediate environment, how are you actually going to stop that from going into those foods that you think are going to be fresh and special, but really they're not? And they are some of the things that we need to think about, because they are going to be inside the food that we eat. They are going to go into our body. They are not going to come out of our body because they get stuck in our cells, so on and so forth, and lead to many other problems. So that's another factor we need to think about. Hopefully that will be addressed in some of the other lectures that you'll be covering in V-Star. And okay, that's great.
Thank you. Yeah, in regards to chemicals and things like that, I mean, the city of Sydney, I'm not sure if people are aware, but I was going on a YouTube clip, and the city of Sydney is telling people to forget buying all those chemicals that are in Coles and Woolworths, as an example, and use household vinegar, right? We're used to bringing all these fragrances, which are all artificial, and that's coming from a government authority like the city of Sydney. And, I mean, she's probably... Clover Moore and the City of Sydney are probably taking a lot of flack for that, but she's still doing that. So again, in the green circles that I'm connected to, I'm seeing a lot of this coming out, but again, it's not permeating throughout the communities because it's not covered by media. So our media that we have today is not doing this. So we, again, through various bloggers, and there are plenty of bloggers here as well, have to get this information out, and people have to find other ways to get that information back in. So if there's no other pressing questions, I'll closely wrap it up because everyone's been waiting patiently. So is there anything on the different? Sure.
I just wanted to say, we can really get caught up, and there's a lot of information out there. But if you're going to get angry about it, if you're going to get churned up inside about it, if you're going to live in fear about it, because we do live in a toxic world and there are, things that we just can't control. But if you're going to live in a constant state of fear about all that stuff, that in itself will make you sick. So keep your perspective. Do what you can. Change your life, your kitchen, your garden, your home, any way that you can, but don't do it from fear, do it from love. Yeah, do it from loving yourself, from loving your family, from loving your environment. If you want to change the system, change yourself, change your own life, and become the lighthouse. Because when you change all of these things, you say, how do we create change? When you change all of these things, when you change the way you think, when you change the way you approach your life, when you go to bed thinking, I just can't wait to get up until tomorrow, people around you go, I want what she's got. I want what he's got. And they ask you, they want to hang out with you, they want to be in your vibration because it's upbeat and it's uplifted and you're not caught in the quagmire of society. And that's how you create change. Be the light you want to see in the world. That's how we do it, one simple step at a time. Yeah?
Thank you very much, Michelle.